So Valentine's Day passed just a few weeks ago, and if you found yourself single and alone this year, you might be asking yourself why. Guys out there, maybe you've sworn off women altogether, and maybe you're part of this whole growing MGTOW movement that's popping up in the last few years. Or maybe you're a woman out there and asking what the hell you're doing wrong. In that case, you might not be alone, as you might be surprised to find out that a lot of women out there just screwed it up for the rest of you. So with that being said, today on Politically Impaired, we're going to be counting down the top 10 most despicable things that women do that scares the shit out of men. Let's roll. Here in 2018, most people don't really consider Valentine's Day as a Christian holiday, but that is definitely where the roots of the holiday came from. Saint Valentine was a priest of the Church of Rome during the 3rd century. He was known as a healer of the blind and a liberator of the oppressed. Back before Catholicism hadn't quite found its footing in Europe, Saint Valentine was known for officiating Christian couples, which had been outlawed at the time. Once caught, he allegedly healed his judge's daughter of blindness. Yet Emperor Claudius still executed him in the end because he refused to denounce his faith. He was stoned and mercilessly beaten with clubs, but somehow survived. On February 14th, he was publicly beheaded and went down in history as a martyr of the Catholic Church. How romantic. Valentine was the patron saint of love and happy marriages, but he was also the saint of beekeepers, epilepsy, and plague. We give presents at Christmas time because of the three kings that presented the newborn savior with gifts. On Valentine's Day, however, we celebrate the savage beating, stoning, and beheading of St. Valentine with especially shaped manufactured chocolates and roses that are half the quality at 3 times the regular price. Considering his other patronage, perhaps we should be inducing seizures and incurable sicknesses like the plague. So if you were single and alone this Valentine's Day and nobody had beaten you with clubs, stoned you, or beheaded you, like St. Valentine, perhaps you may be feeling a little left out. So it is with that in mind that we're going to be counting down the top most despicable things that women do to men. Perhaps along the way, we may be able to figure out what the hell went wrong. Number 10. Not bothering to pick up the phone. Now, in all fairness, giving out a fake phone number can be a useful tactic for women looking to get on with their night. Certainly no judgment there if the man was honestly not taking no for an answer. But why give out your real phone number if you aren't going to bother picking up the phone in the first place? Purposely misleading men may explain why you keep a steady supply of batteries in your drawers.
What is this?
Number 9. Using men for free drinks. Now, who can really blame someone for wanting to drink for free? But if you rely on men to supply you with drinks with the assumption of giving a small bit of your time, but you don't even try to deliver, you've probably made a name for yourself as being a hustler and somewhat of a bitch. Men can be very observant even when they're drinking. So this would be an instant red flag to any decent man that might be within earshot of that type of conversation.
And then you go to the club, right, guys? We buy the girls the free drinks, and right after they get the drinks, they whisper to each other like, okay, I'll tell them. Hi, we're gonna walk around. But thanks for the free drinks, losers!
Number 8. Using men as placeholders. Some women have a real fear of loneliness, and will commonly string a boyfriend along while they search for a better alternative, collecting phone numbers, flirting, and sometimes downright cheating while they locate the next jump in line. Number 7. Emotional manipulation. Some despicable women out there will use their tears to get what they want. You'd be surprised just how easily a shitty woman can turn on the waterworks in order to get their way. When a man is in love and he feels like he needs to protect a woman, the worst thing you could do is make him feel like he's the reason why you're hurting. So men will commonly give in, hoping that the hurt will end. Now this can be very confusing to a man, because sometimes he can't really tell if you're faking or not. So if you are genuinely hurting and, you start crying and stuff like that, there's certainly no fault there. But if you're a good actress and you're able to turn on those waterworks like a light switch, then understand that most decent men will consider you a stone cold bitch if you're able to manipulate emotions and use, someone's affection towards you as a weapon.
Hey, remember how we used to be in love?
Yeah.
That means I know when you're crying for real and when you're faking it. Bye-bye!
Number 6. Child blackmail. Nothing says complete scumbag like a woman that will threaten the father of her child with taking them away. Once this tactic is used once, the cat is officially out of the bag, and any respectable man will see her as evil incarnate from that day forth. Now keep in mind that most men have some sort of a bro code just built into their DNA. And if you're using this tactic, any decent man within earshot is going to see this as a red flag and see you as just as evil. Number 5. Public criticism. Criticizing and shaming a man in front of his family, friends, or even strangers is the mark of a woman that has no respect for their man. The first incident is usually the last incident for many moral men out there, as any man with the slightest regard for his own self-worth will kick her to the curb without hesitation. Number 4. Keeping her relationship status quiet. This might not seem like a big deal, but trust me, it definitely comes into play when looking for a man. This act of evil is a double-edged sword. Some women will not bother telling an interested party that they have a boyfriend until they've gotten the thrill of the flirt off their chest and decide that you're not worthy of leaving their boyfriend for. At the same time, they stop introducing their boyfriend in circles where potential future boyfriends may be lurking, even if the current boyfriend can't keep his mouth shut about how much he may be in love with you. Number 3. Using sex as a weapon. This timeless tactic is practiced as the norm in today's society, unfortunately. A lot of women hold their physical affection from their men until they get what they want, even if what they want has nothing to do with sex at all. However, in modern times, this tactic is beginning to wear thin with the widespread availability of internet porn.
And they won't hook up with you for a couple of days. Who cares? Who cares? You rub one out. Rub one out like a man. It's the champagne of victory.
According to recent male studies, using the act of love as leverage ranks number 3 on the most common causes of divorce and long-term relationship breakups in the United States today. Number 2. Testing men. These type of women will call their boyfriends on a boys' night and ask them to ditch their friends because they wanted to spend time with them, even though it could have waited till the next day. This was most likely the first time his friends truly saw you as a bitch, and every mistake that followed in your relationship is now built on that shitty foundation.
Well, why do you even care?
Because you're breaking up the band, Yoko!
Number 1, the evil of all evils that must be addressed. Flirting to inspire jealousy. Nothing says complete piece of shit like a woman that will flirt with other men just to get a rise out of their boyfriend. These type of women just enjoy a good cockfight and the thrill of a heated argument. Some women simply think they are queens and just love to sit back on their imaginary throne and watch two men fight over her. Now, please don't think that I'm generalizing. There are many good women out there that aren't like anything that I've described in this list. Decent women are certainly among us, and they're easier to find when you know how and where to look. And trust me when I say that you won't find them on the dance floor grinding against like 6 different guys. At the same time, to be fair, men can be just as shitty, cruel, and merciless at times. However, as a man, I only have experience in the male perspective, so it's nothing personal. So really think about it for a second. If you've been guilty of any of these despicable acts, now is the time to really reflect and get your head straight. Perhaps next year you might not be single. However, if you are free and clear of anything on this list, perhaps you just have some really bad luck. In that case, screw the heart-shaped box of chocolates and overpriced flowers and celebrate Valentine's Day in the traditional sense. Take a note from St. Valentine's himself, and maybe get a little stoned. For those who aren't alone, I suggest a traditional celebration as well. As the Emperor saw fit to take Valentine's head, perhaps celebrate by giving a little back. Now screw flowers and chocolates. Nothing says I love you like getting your man a politically impaired mug. Or perhaps even donating to one's Patreon account, which can be found in the link in the description. Would you agree with the list? If you have opinions, don't be shy in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. Also, if you have any suggestions for politically impaired in the future, I'd also like to hear that as well. So that's all I have for you today, so thanks a lot for watching, and take care.